Now I'm talking.
Now you're talking.
Now I'm talking.
Right, club audience, are you ready for the second piece of the night? Make some noise! Matt, feeling good?
Feeling good.
Excellent. Ladies and gentlemen, Matt Pine with Dry in 3, 2, 1, begin.
When I get drunk, I write myself notes, and usually I force my friends to read these and admire their wit and insight, which is appropriate because now my friends are in the front row and they have to hear them again. But tonight, I've picked out some of my best drunk notes to myself to share with you guys, and here's the first one. That man's vomit had an unfortunate resemblance to some of my favorite soups. Right? That's like a good first note. Second one is, high school is an oven that turns out such inconsistent pastries. Some of them are foul-smelling, others are yeasty and soft. And what a huge auditorium. And I'm supposed to be saying the word dry and persuading you of the merits of dry. And when I think of dry, I think of like prohibition and sobriety. I think of my teetotaling grandparents and their 2 flat in Cincinnati, the clock ticking, caffeine-free soda, network television, and documentaries on the airplanes of World War II. But I mean, drunk notes are so much more fun. Here's another one that I sent to myself. 2 things that are compared to death are orgasms and sleep. First, the French use the phrase, I'm not going to say French, you guys know the word. And second, you can sleep like the dead. Sleep and orgasms. I don't die enough. And so that's like a fun thing to get in the morning from yourself to you. And that last one kind of sounded like Pascal, right? Like his pensée, like after Pascal had like spent a night dedicated to Long Island iced teas. Here's another note. This was from just 2 nights ago. The alcoholic speech therapist teaches her students to slur their words. So, that's important. And the problem with wet inspiration is it doesn't like cohere. That last fragment was intended to be used in a story, but it doesn't elaborate anything or fit anywhere. And for tonight, I had planned to write about a woman named Nicole. Nicole has been appearing in my fiction a lot lately. She's 29 or 30. She's lived in San Francisco for the last 2 years, and she suspects she's on the verge of a self-indulgent disaster. The idea was that Nicole was going to go to the ocean, which is wet, and she was going to hate it, therefore supporting dry, and I was going to win a small trophy. And here's a wet note I wrote to myself supporting that idea. Nicole thinks that the ocean is never not ocean, and she curses herself for how dumb that sounds, and she's doubly annoyed because it's true. The ocean really is always ocean. It will always be cold, strong, deep, hard, old, indifferent, unrelenting. And Nicole was beginning to wonder if she was going to have to explore all of the secondhand ideas, all the cliches and first impressions before having an original thought about the ocean. Just as a developing fetus must look like a worm and then a fish and then a monkey before looking like a person, would she have to go through all the old relationships to water? Fear, curiosity, fervor, reverence. No, thought Nicole. She was taking too many journeys at once. She was only beginning to understand herself. She told Chase that she did not want to get in the water. She was straying dry and working through what was on her mind. And so obviously that wasn't just a single drunken note. That's a couple of drunk notes held together with like a coffee mortar, like in the morning. And this woman, Nicole, who does not exist and who was inspired by no real person, I feel like I know a lot about her. For example, I know that she has recently realized she's been exhausting herself trying to reconcile contradictory urges. There were desires for fun, for sex, for beauty, for novelty, and there were fears, of loneliness, of violence, of boredom, of poverty, of professional failure, of creative failure. There were curious proclivities to draw on her notepad, to read about geology. With bars, she preferred grit over nice. With drama, she preferred movies over television. Like most people, Nicole felt that her intelligent central person, that invisible dot at her body's and her mind's helm, that person was responsible for putting those different propositions into something like coherence. A craving for fried grease balanced against morning jogs, loneliness, lust, and a love of novelty answered with an adventurous and slightly perverted boyfriend. Half-practiced hobbies were fit into the free time allowed by her so-so career. She used to worry that if she let herself relax, then it would all pull apart. But she was sick of it. She wanted to let go, to let the contradictions mount, to let it strain, and to let it burst. I had an idea that Nicole was going to go to pieces at the ocean. But to be honest, I've been on a bit of a bender lately. And as all I've been writing are these wet notes. So instead of going to the beach with Nicole, this is what I had to work with. Story idea, Paul Auster fighting with his iPhone. It was confusing Siri with his wife, Siri Hutsfed. Here's another one. Human beings are the only animals that write songs about trucks. The half-knitted sweater, it is a growing baby, and the ball of yarn, it is the placenta. Or, human beings are the only animal that give themselves awards. Or, that woman trying... Oh, no, I did that totally wrong. That lamp, it looks like a woman trying on a dress. Okay, here's another one. Living alone with my dog, I felt like a huge toddler who insists on taking his stuffed animal everywhere. Or, human beings are the only animal that won't let dogs into restaurants. Nicole's story, it was supposed to start on a Saturday morning. She was packing a bag for a day of hiking, and Chase was picking her up shortly. They had met the week before at a masquerade karaoke party. That night, Nicole had felt like she was finally doing San Francisco right. She was embracing its whimsy and its lack of self-consciousness. But no, she thought to herself, that wasn't exactly accurate. This city is incredibly self-conscious. And what she was finally doing was embracing its extravagant displays of confidence. This is a city that on Sunday afternoons does impressions of Renoir. Why, yes, the city says, let's sit in the park with our sketchbooks, and we'll wear sweaters and bow ties. In her sour moments, Nicole thought of San Francisco as the universe's center for transgressive consumerism. Here you can buy spiritually significant yoga pants and subversive wine pairings. High-end signifiers of blue-collar employment are popular in the artist lofts where keyboards clack out capitalist dreams. It's a city of dress-up and props. Adults playing children playing dress-up. It's goofiness, not parody. It's spectacle, not insight. And yet, thought Nicole, and yet this sort of performance was not something she'd done before moving here. To the party, she wore a bowler hat affixed with bobby pins at a flirty angle and a mask made of pink taffeta. And she felt great, looking a little ridiculous. The pervasive playfulness of a city always in costume, it relaxed her anxiety. It broadened the possibilities of the personalities she could put forth. She felt loosened and happy.
So loose and so happy, and yet so incomplete in her final thought.